What's up guys and welcome. You're watching Fazi Fitness. Let's start this video with classic physique category, specifically Stephane. So this update is taken after Stephane completed 1/3 of his prep with his new coach Patrick Tour. So the strategy is very clear here. Do a longer prep to maintain as much muscularity as he possibly can while steadily coming down in weight. Because the weight cutoff once again is going to be a challenge, even with that increase in the weight limits. And the kind of conditioning that he is in right now, I have to say he is way too big and way too muscular for classic physique division. And he is definitely gonna have to lose some muscles to make the weight cut off. And it really doesn't matter who he is working with, who is coaching him. He's bound to lose some roundness and that 3D effect that makes him so unique whenever he makes a weight cut off. At this point, it is a matter of how much he retains while getting down in weight, especially towards the end of his prep. There is nothing more that a guy like Stephane would want, but to have a few more pounds added to his weight limit. And we just saw last year, the IFBB did increase the weight limits. They did implement the new regulations. And Stephane did compete once with those new regulations. That was at Muscle Contest Austria, which was a show after the Olympia last year. And he actually got beat by Michael the Bull at that show, who is arguably one of the most shredded man in classic physique division. And interestingly, his coach at that time was also Patrick Tour. So right now, Stephane looks extremely lean, extremely impressive, especially for a guy who has another 8 to 10 weeks to go, another 8 to 10 weeks of dieting before he steps on stage. So we might see the most shredded version of Stephane this year, and he definitely has an Olympia caliber physique. And I'm gonna go as far as saying this. He can potentially crack top 10 at the Olympia if he can come in at his all-time best. Especially if he can bring that look that he has in the gym, with that roundness, the bubbliness and that 3D look that he has. He's gonna be really dangerous. Next up, we have a physique update from the reigning Mr. Olympia champion Derek Lunsford, coming all the way from his own YouTube channel. So if you wanna see how confident Derek is for 2024 Olympia, just take a look at that thumbnail that says back to back. So this is exactly how a champion should feel like, when he's making sure he's making the maximum out of every single day, even during that off season. And I have to say, as big as Derek is looking right now, his conditioning is just nuts. So there is a Pittsburgh Pro guest posing coming up in just a couple of more weeks. And I think Nick Walker is gonna be the one who's gonna steal that show, because he's gonna be in a contest ready shape, as he will be competing at the New York Pro just 1 week after that guest posing. But again, Derek's off-season condition looks absolutely wild. So Derek has done 2 Pittsburgh Pro guest posings in the last 2 years, and he has always been extremely impressive. I mean, this is where it all began for him, just a couple of years ago. And keep in mind, he was in the 212 class at that time, but after that guest posing, everyone just kept on telling him he should switch to the men's open, and the rest is history. Even in 2023, he was extremely impressive here, and I don't think that trend is gonna change. His legs are looking really big right now. That combined with his insane taper, and the kind of conditioning he is displaying right now, is once again gonna be the leader of the pack. So a few weeks ago, Derek did mention that he never does anything extra, like the PEDs or the use of diuretics when it comes to guest posings. He just cleans up the diet a little bit, and a little bit of cardio, and that's pretty much it. And the reason is he stays so lean during the off season, and that is why he is always able to pull off such an impressive showing at the Pittsburgh Pro. So this is gonna be his first guest posing after becoming Mr. Olympia. And I think this will be a good one to watch. But he has to keep in mind, he's the one being hunted now. All the other competitors will be looking at his performance, at his physique, and how much improvements he has been able to make since the Olympia last year. So I think this year's Pittsburgh Pro is going to be so exciting. Nathan Yesha versus Andrew Jacked. That is potentially what we're going to see in July at Dubai Pro 2024. So this is going to be the inaugural Dubai Pro in the men's open bodybuilding. Previously, it was only for classic physique. And put Behrouz Tabani in there as well. And we're going to have one hell of a show. And keep in mind, these are only a few guys who we know are going to be there. There are so many other names who are probably going to do this show. And once again, the reason is the prize money. So I am so happy that Behrouz Tabani is finally going to be able to compete in multiple shows. Because up until now, he has been doing just 1 or maybe 2 shows every year. But this is a chance for all of us and for Behrouz himself to stand next to some top guys in the world and see how he does against them. So I have to say his chances of getting to the Olympia stage, they are still very shaky at this point. Because still we haven't heard anything so far about his US visa. But hopefully that miracle that we have all been waiting for quite some time now, that is finally gonna happen for Behrouz this year. And hopefully this whole situation in the Middle East, that isn't gonna affect this whole process. But all that being said, at least this time, we will get to see how he stacks up against the likes of William Barnack, Michael Crusoe, and Andrew Jacked. We have already seen him beating Nathan Deisha at Romania Pro last year, but that wasn't the best of Nathan that we saw last year. So, talking about Nathan Deisha, there is a very high likelihood this will probably be the best Nathan to ever step on the stage. He finally had a very well-planned off-season after a long time, because last year he was coming off of an injury. He had a couple of bicep tears, but this time, this was a very good off-season. He has never been this big and this lean, especially close to 300 pounds. And he continues to get bigger, he continues to grow, because we all know Nathan Deisha is a guy who changes very fast when he finally starts to diet, when he finally starts the prep phase. So Nathan did a total of 5 shows last year, and he won 2 of them. And I think most of the bodybuilding community agrees that he should have won 3. He should have won the Europa Pro Spain as well. So just like Behrouz Tabani, he is another one of those guys who we aren't sure will ever step on the Olympia stage again. The last time Nathan competed at the Olympia stage, that was back in 2018. So 6 years ago. And it is such a shame that we never got to see him stack up against some of the top guys of this current generation. Because Nathan Deisha at his best, he is a top 10 Olympian no matter who shows up. And we have heard him say that getting to the Olympia stage, that isn't his goal anymore. But still, I am hoping we are gonna get to see him on the Olympia stage again this year. So, Andrew Jacked is probably gonna be the man to beat here in Dubai Pro. So this season will pretty much give us a very accurate idea and the indication of how high can Andrew place at the Olympia level, how high he can go. Will he be a title contender at any point in the near future? Because he needs more thickness in his side shorts, in his hamstrings, he needs more thickness in his back, and I have to say a little bit of better conditioning. So since turning pro, Andrew has been competing non-stop. He has done every single Arnold as well as the Olympia, plus one more show as well, which was to earn his Olympia spot. So Andrew never really had a big off-season before this one. This is the first time Andrew has taken this much time off post-Olympia. And I believe this is gonna be such a big factor in 2024. A fresh Andrew Jacked is gonna be even more dangerous. So he is the favorite to win Dubai. After all, he is top 5 from the Olympia last year. So do you guys know what would be the game changer for Andrew Jacked? Him placing top 3 somehow at the Olympia this year, because that will give him an automatic qualification and a chance to utilize an entire uninterrupted off-season to solely focus on getting bigger, focusing on his weak points, and probably getting more thickness in his sides. Because if he can do that, he is definitely gonna be a Mr. Olympia title contender in 2025. The people who saw him at Texas Pro last year, they said he is Mr. Olympia from the front already. And if he can bring up his weak points, he is gonna be next to impossible to stop. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.